the inaugural language.
Where's this one, Katie? Services, it's just all online.
The organization.
Yeah.
They're all like, always there. And Maria, I guess she's based out of San Diego, or Coronado, actually.
I'll make a motion that we approve the letter of intent, or sorry, letter of support.
And who would be writing that? Is from the chief? Is that where we want it from the chief, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually have the letter of support drafted here in the packet. It is.
So Nikki, you're on this,
Next page over in that. Back.
you're a personnel member of this group?
Sorta.
I see you posted
Yeah,
here.
she's got me on there. I haven't done anything for her other than introduce her to tribes. I don't get paid,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna abstain. I'll abstain anyways, just because I don't wanna.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Maria had actually reached out to Lenape OC Foundation 2 or 3 years ago whenever this project was in infant stages, and had reached out to us for consulting and to make sure that she was on the right track with wanting to use the Lenape language. Now, since the project has evolved, Lenape OC is no longer tied to this organization whatsoever. So she's basically doing this on her own, along with a number of other consultants.
Right, and so if she's gonna use Lenape, she needs to have somebody that can be.
Well, she wasn't, was she called Mountaintop at that time? Back
She
then?
was.
She was still Mountaintop.
Yeah, last year around this time, we provided a letter of support for her project. Then now, since it's evolved to have an accurate depiction, I had a problem with it last year because it was the title had morphed. Whenever we began discussing the project, Lenape OC, we were under the impression that it was Turtle Island was the proposed title at that time. And after she had met with a couple of other organizations and tribes, it had morphed into Powwow Highway, which I was really not supportive of, since we are not traditionally a Powwow tribe, and neither were a number of other, the 5 tribes that are participating in the inaugural program, the inaugural venture.
I remember that now, the discussion.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I'm abstaining.
Is there any opposed? Okay, that's 6 yes and 1 abstention. Community higher ed.
Yeah, I'm up again. Okay, this is a proposed partnership in education. Recently, Community Care College, well, actually, let me back up. An organization called Community Higher Ed, previously operating as Community Care College, Clarity Sage, and the Oklahoma Technical College, reached out to us. They have now converted from a for-profit to a nonprofit, which they are now doing business as a Community Higher Ed. They are reaching out to tribes in Oklahoma. Their mission, sorry, here I'll read their mission statement. The mission of our college is is to transform lives and contribute to society by providing career-focused higher education opportunities that empower students to obtain successful employment, develop leadership skills, and serve their communities. With their nonprofit status comes the ability to develop partnerships that will greatly benefit those we serve. The Partners in Education Agreement states that the college will provide our constituents, the Delaware Tribe of Indians, a 25% grant based on their enrollment in our tribe alone. There are no other requirements other than a high school diploma or a GED, which will significantly decrease their student loan debt. There's no obligation to the tribe other than we sign this letter of memorandum and recommend the college to those interested in pursuing higher ed. So it is an absolute win-win for our constituents, and no matter what the age, as long as they are enrolled in an enrolled member of our tribe, they automatically qualify for a 25% tuition grant.
Michelle, that 25% isn't listed in this thing that we're signing.
No, it is listed on this, on the letter that they had sent me, and is that not listed in? This is their MOU, basically, that was sent, and that they require all of the tribes that are partnering with them. Actually, yes, Annette, third line down, it is,
Okay, I just didn't.
that's okay. Section 1.
Oh, I
on
found it,
item
I
1,
found it, excuse me.
Third line, that's
Yeah, I
okay.
did. I thought it was in there when I read it the first time, that we had it
To
sent
develop
out.
a partnership that
Okay, I
provides a
see it.
25% grant for all diploma and degrees programs offered by the college. And I have a booklet of all of their courses that they offer, is roughly about 42 degree plans and certifications that they offer.
And when she first contacted us, she had called my office, and I transferred over to Michelle because I know her heart beats with the education stuff. But the lady also said we could go down and she would give us tours in Tulsa of their 3 different
Yes.
campuses.
Awesome.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
You should have brought my little block of map, shouldn't we? That's taking up a lot of time. Yeah.
Generations Indigenous.
I just have one more item to add to tonight's discussion. There's 2 initiations, Generation Indigenous, which I'm sure most of you have heard of. It's an initiative that's come from the White House, and I would like to discuss and bring to the table two challenges. One is our Native Youth Challenge. The second is our Tribal Leaders Challenge. The Native Youth Challenge is calling on Native American youth ages 14 to 24 to get engaged and address community issues through the Gen I Youth Challenge. By taking the challenge, youth pledge to do something positive of their choosing. For example, starting a community garden, hosting a cultural night, becoming a mentor to a younger person, and sharing back what they did with the Center for Native American Youth. Youth who take the challenge will be eligible to participate in events in DC this fall and winter. Organizations, colleges, and universities as well can take this challenge also. The Tribal Leaders Challenge was discussed at this year's NCAI gathering. It is basically following up and partnering with the Native youth that decide to take this youth challenge, to mentor them and make the concrete steps that our youth need to bring their involvement into our communities, including working with or creating a youth council, hosting a joint meeting between youth and tribal leaders, and partnering with youth to plan a program to support positive change in their community. I would like to ask this council and our tribal leaders to take this Tribal Leaders Challenge and join along with a number of other tribal organizations in the country that have already taken this challenge.
You need that in the form of a motion?
Well, so then we would each get involved with a student?
Well, I think as an organization, we would get involved, and then you could choose how you want to mentor that person. We would need the youth to be involved first off, and to reach out to our youth.
And if anybody has any, this really isn't in a form of a motion, it's an information share. And if anybody would like to have any further information, please contact me. I've already signed up for the challenge along with my 2 children that are 13 and 14. So I would like to see a large number from our tribe to take this challenge as well.
And everybody just contacts you for.
Okay, sure, yeah, contact me.
So you're gonna challenge all of us.
Challenge, I challenge you.
There you go.
But it's a fun challenge.
You've officially been challenged.
Is that where they pour a bucket of water on your head then?
No, that's an ice bucket challenge.
No ice involved.
Anna,
What was the minimum age on that?
14.
Okay.
How old are you now?
I'm only 11.
Oh, darn it.
You
I know
said
she's
your kid
going
was
to
13.
Yeah.
How can he take that challenge if the minimum was 14?
No, Shy's taking the challenge, and he's involved. Not on paper, but involved. We're making him go through the motions too, even though he's not signed up.
You could practice.
He's an
Yeah,
understudy.
he's practicing.
He'll be really good at it when he really signs up.
So probably not your own kids.
To mentor.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I would like for, to reach out outside of your already, dedicated group. Lenape OC, I would expect that we would all sign up and take part in this also. I would like to reach out to other, yes, you too.
well, there's probably employees, that would be great as well, and then we have all those kids that went to,
The Water Gap.
the Water Gap that we can pull into this, the Boys and Girls Club, so we can certainly do this in a wonderful way.
Inclusive way.
So what kind of events would you be talking about when you talking about education? You talking about physical? Are you talking about what kind of challenges are you putting out there?
Culture, a lot of what we do already with Lenape OC would fit that criteria. Healthy habits, doing a community garden, really anything that is a positive impact on our community.
Oh.
And would you take care of elders?
Yes. That
I'm
counts.
talking about like
What
doing
is it?
stuff like for Bonnie Thaxton. Cause this Jan is gone, Jan was taking her to do her grocery shopping and taking her places to doctor's appointments and stuff, and now, like, we'll need somebody to kind of help Bonnie transition over to another driver. Would that be considered, a task?
I would think so. I would think that would be something that our younger generations assisting our elders.
But I don't think you should let it go for a younger driver, but.
You never know.
Might have some fun.
Uh-oh, okay, we're getting
We just turned her into a career.
Bring it back. She's not here to defend herself either.
Okay, well, that was my information shared. So if anybody's interested, please contact me by email or by phone.
thank you, Michelle. Benita, I think you've got some personnel committee report or recommendations.
I do have some recommendations. The one listed on the agenda, I have several, but the one listed on the agenda is, with the holidays coming up, we would like to recommend that we provide turkeys to the employees. Mike did some research and we can get, I think, the turkeys from Walmart for a cost of no more than $500, that was the max, $400 to $500, and being able to provide our employees with frozen turkeys that will not be coming out of a plane or a helicopter.
No WKRP.
WKRP, we did talk about that.
That's exactly what we were talking about.
But in light of that, I would like to make a motion on behalf of the personnel committee that we do provide turkeys to our employees for Thanksgiving.
Give them a $1.
I would just like to add, I know in the information that we got, it said they'd be picked up Wednesday morning. If they're gonna cook them Thursday, could we get them like on Monday? Because they need time to thaw.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I can talk to Mike to see if we can
Okay.
get them a little bit earlier.
Okay. I would imagine they can. I mean, I used to get
Yeah.
200 of them from Walmart's ready to be, and so they just have to order them.
I just have a question. What line item are we gonna use? Where's that gonna come from?
Out of the general fund. Correct, Jean?
Is there a second?
One more thing. I'm sure that I don't wanna like overdo it, but I'm sure we have some elders that might need some turkeys too. I mean, is there a line we're drawing for need with our employee? I mean, is that taking it too far?
Well, they're feeding the elders on Wednesday, for one thing,
Thanksgiving dinner.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
On Wednesday.
I'll feel better about
A
that.
week from tomorrow.
Okay.
So they only get one meal?
All right, Nancy. Do we have a second?
Do we,
No, I mean.
She made the motion, and I'll second it.
motion been made and seconded to provide the employees with turkeys for Thanksgiving. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Or abstentions? Passed unanimously.
Okay, the other item I have from the Personnel Committee is the new holiday calendar for 2016, and that's attached, I think it's the last page of your packet. So on the holiday schedule, I will add that there is an additional day compared to last year. Last year we had 10 days allotted for holidays. This year we have 11, with that being January the 1st for New Year's, February the 15th for President's Day, March 25th for Good Friday, March 30th for Memorial Day, July 4th for Independence Day, September the 5th for Labor Day, November the 11th for Veterans, 2 days for Thanksgiving being November the 24th and the 25th, and then 2 days for Christmas being the 23rd and 26th. Do note we did remove the day for Delaware Day. We didn't have a lot of participation as far as employees attending, so that one was removed. And Indigenous Day was removed as well.
What?
Indigenous Day.
Indigenous Day.
It's not gonna return to Columbus, is it?
No, it's still,
It's
no.
still Indigenous.
It has to be a
Day.
resolution, because we made a resolution on that.
Yeah, we made a resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the holiday
I'll
schedule.
second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the Personnel Committee's recommended holiday schedule. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Another recommendation from the Personnel Committee is to be able to provide a Christmas party for our employees. We did have a Christmas party last year. It was very well received by the employees here in the hall. We have a date slated for December the 18th, providing sandwiches, potluck.
We already, what time are we having? December the
It's a
18th?
Friday.
December the 18th is a Friday.
19th.
The 19th is the not
Yeah,
BOC
that's
party.
Saturday, yeah.
Okay, I've had in my mind this whole time it's the 18th.
And I think
Okay.
it happened that
Good.
way last year too. That you had it.
Yeah, because we had one right after
Yeah,
the
one
other.
right after the other, yeah.
Okay.
So we would start about 4 o'clock before the employees left for the day. Provide sandwiches and, do the Dirty Santa thing that, or, did we call it Dirty Santa?
We called it Dirty Santa.
Okay, Dirty Santa. And exchange of gifts like that. I think we had, it was fun last year.
It was
I
fun.
think it was-
And the elders do that too.
Yeah.
When they have theirs, they do the Dirty Santa. So I'll make a motion. We approve the recommendations from the Personnel Committee.
I'll make that motion.
Or you want to say?
I make the motion that we have the Christmas party on December 18th as the Personnel Committee recommended for the staff here, and with sandwiches and potluck and gift exchange and Dirty Santa.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The Christmas party passes unanimously.
And we'd also like to include the trust board and the judges in that party.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Election board discussion at this, or currently, we've got 2 volunteers for next year's election board firm. That is Edna Havens and Kaz Smith. Chad.
Goodness.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, my God.
I asked Kaz if he cared whether he was a chairman or a committee member, and he said titles didn't mean anything to him. He said, why don't you make the local person that lives here in Bartlesville the chair? If anybody knows of other people that'd like to serve, they probably need about 3 more volunteers.
Well, and I think, Chief, I think in the election rules that we have right now, it says the chairman will pick. So if anybody has anybody, they might just let Edna know, or let you know, you can let Edna know.
Would this tribal council wish to go ahead and simply appoint Edna Havens the chair? And I'm sure she would welcome the assistance of Kaz and other people. Edna's been on the election board before, so she probably knows several people that can help her.
Do we need a motion? Okay, I'll make a motion that we extend the offer to Edna Havens to be the election chair for the 2016 election.
I'll second the motion.
What about Cass as a member?
Yeah, well, yeah, and Cass Smith is a member. John's got his hand up, Chief.
John,
Now, this is within the Havens being able to suggest but not appoint. Like if she's got a couple of people, she could recommend appointment, but not appoint herself.
that's the way it's always been done in the past, I believe.
Thank you.
What does it require?
Pardon?
To be a volunteer, what does it require?
Well, I know they attend meetings, they have to attend the meetings, and they should be faithful to attend all of them. And they also have to work during the week that they're doing the election. There's quite a bit of responsibility, Nancy, but not overwhelming.
We have a copy of the election regulations right here if you want to take a copy.
The reason I was asking was because the last time I was on the committee, I got accused of counting extra points or votes to Joe Brooks. And we had the guys and the watchers out there watching this count. And he made me mad. And I said I would never do it again because the people that accused me would not come up to my face and say, you cheated. And I asked them to. Now, do I want to go back on here and go through this again? I don't know yet. I will read the rules and I will figure out if I want to volunteer or not.
But I think the counting, I know last year we used the League of Women Voters to actually do the counting, the volunteers.
So what do you need volunteers for then?
You've got to work the registration table, go through it, make sure there's no duplicates, things like that.
Did they mail out the ballots also?
Yeah, they mail out the
That's
ballots.
a big job.
Receive the absentee requests.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Is there a,
I think we made a motion, but we didn't second.
We need to call for the question.
Okay, call for a motion.
questions called on the election board chairperson? And all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Is there an editorial committee report
You know, we had an editorial committee. No, it says discussion.
or discussion?
That would be me.
Okay.
Okay, we want to bring to the table that our communications be safeguarded by a committee that would handle all the editorialish kind of things, such as the Delaware Indian News, such as social media. Well, as a secretary, I'm charged with communications, basically. And so what we want to do is get all the information out as best we can, as accurately as possible, with as many checks and balances as we can to the members. So we're looking for people who want to volunteer for that, because we don't have the capabilities within the tribe to pay for that, but we have, I'm sure, very willing people out there, and possibly some college students that want to do it in a form of getting some kind of experience. So we've got,
Is it the DIN?
yes, the Delaware Indian News. And so that would be editorial for the Delaware Indian News and social media, particularly at this point. We're working on developing our Twitter account and our LinkedIn account as well. So it's going to take a whole team. Yeah.
But we are working on it.
Well, so far it's so far it's just me and,
Okay.
you know, Greg is the other person that has been,
I think we need to kind of figure out who we want on this committee collectively.
well, people with experience in communications.
Well, I know, do we want people from the trust board, do we want people from council?
Well,
Would we want a judge on there?
I wouldn't think so. I'm sorry, I'm just going, personally, no, I wouldn't. The whole purpose of having an editorial committee is to take that control out of the hands of our elected officials to where we don't have the ability to skew information that is provided to our members.
that's my thought.
I don't want to have anything to do with it.
So that would take also Nikki then out of it?
Well, as the secretary, I'm charged with it, so I'm overseeing it, but I'm not going to influence it politically. So I have to be very careful, for sure.
So we're just announcing this and then we'll discuss it. Is that what we're gonna do, or?
I think we need to have time to think about it. I mean,
Well, I've been asking for it for about 6 months now, and we had a slip up with Anita's article, and I don't want to see that happen again.
right.
So, and for right now, I mean, at the very least, if we're gonna carry this discussion over some more, I want to make sure that everybody knows that if you submit an article right now, please make sure to CC both me, courtesy copy both me, Greg, and Dana. That way-
What's the deadline for the DIN?
The 10th.
10, okay.
Yeah, because of the holidays, they're gonna print on the 28th, but the holiday is the week before, 2 days off everybody has, and the paper has lots of ads they've got to get done and things that week, so the 28th, Leslie.
Leslie,
Am I allowed to volunteer to help with that?
I would say, yeah. It's a volunteer position, it's nothing.
Right.
Okay.
We'll pay you a
I would
popcorn.
be willing to help
Buy
with
something.
I think you'd be great.
Would you make sure it's on Facebook and our website at him?
Yes, we will announce that on Facebook and we'll announce that on.
Alan, will you, bless you. Alan, will you make sure the staff all knows of the December 10th? Or Dana, will you let the staff know?
They'll know tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right. Because I think we kind of crunched in on Greg last time, so we need to try to make sure we get everything in by the 10th.
under other business,
I have something, Chief, if I may. I'm going to read a letter. This will make everybody happy. I just got this today, and it just came in today, and I just happened to go look at my mailbox. I had no idea this was in there, but it's, Dear Annette, I would like to make a donation towards your cultural preservation stomp dance grounds. Please accept this check for $1,000 in
That's all we
memory.
needed.
I knew
The others come through.
the prayers have been answered.
They have.
Please accept this check for $1,000 in memory of my ancestors, Betsy Ziegler, Logan, Charles, and my father, Roy Ziegler. I called and chatted with you a few years ago about Elizabeth Ketchum. This is how your name stuck in my memory with the Ketchum connection. I have been watching your videos with the Tribal Council, and I find it very interesting. Had to laugh when you answered Bonnie with "I'm here" when she skipped over your name. That was cute. I'm so sorry I could not make the Kansas, Idaho, Delaware meetings. I am a KD council member, as things are pretty hectic around here with my husband being sick. I cannot leave him alone and take any trips. My daughter had to stay here with him as he will not allow anyone coming in to sit. She lives directly to the rear of me with my family. They are such a help. I thank you, Wanishi, for all you are doing with your tribal enrollment recognition. I am proud of a Lenape, and I am proud to be Lenape, and I am looking forward to the day if and when myself and others can join the tribe. Sincerely, Arlene Ziegler Mikusi. I don't know how, Makusi it sounds like, and she lives in Summit, North, New Jersey, Summit, New Jersey. So,
I don't know who to give this to, but I'll give it,
We'll give it to Jean
Pass it.
when we get through.
Jean, okay.
Or give it to.
If the tribe might want to acknowledge it, I'm gonna write to her.
Right.
So if I write it, can I write it on behalf of the tribe, or
Yes.
Chief, do you want to
Yes.
write her one too, or however you want to do it? That's a pretty big donation.
It is a.
Really?
I hope it's
all
good.
Laughing.
It's good. Thank you, Arlene.
That's right, that's
Yeah.
today. And Kenny's gonna be here this week to hopefully get started on it. So, we're the ones who are doing it. Well, Sean and Homer and Tatum and I are the foreman committee. So anyway, that's great news.
You know, I know that Jan was also really looking forward to having the stock granite back. And I think that is kind of a significant blessing.
Right here.
Yes.
Right, right, absolutely.
And, in light of other new business, I'd, like for our attorney, David McCullough, to stand up and everybody here give David a big hand. David and they were in Washington DC last week, and I want to say that, as far as I'm concerned, personally, David is the best attorney we could possibly get.
Is this recorded? Is it recorded? Because I want to take that and use it somewhere. No. Do you want to report?
I get, it's probably on film.
Good.
Do I hear further?
Yeah, I have 2 orders of new business, kind of secretarial. We have a request from the Smithsonian Institute asking to be able to use the popcorn song. And apparently that was recorded with Nora Thompson Dean, and they're doing an exhibit with it. So she needs it pretty quickly, and I said, well, I'll just take it to the meeting tonight and ask if everyone is okay with that.
I'm fine with it.
Levi, do you know what the popcorn song is?
Yeah, I've heard the recording.
Okay.
What kind of, can I ask what kind of exhibit is it?
It's just on the Lenape in the Woodlands.
Okay.
It's a Shawnee lady doing it. It's actually Jeremy's contact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
So, yeah, so it's, yeah, I've done the homework on this, so.
You do know that it now becomes public.
Well, that's kinda why I'm
information, and
asking.
Anybody can take it and use it back east.
Anybody,
Well, if it's in their exhibit,
anybody.
It doesn't matter whether it's in a Smithsonian exhibit or not, it becomes public property.
right?
That's
Well,
what
that's
happened
something
to our
we need to
language. You know, this is just something you need to look at, because we're having more and more problems. They caught another one, come down here and stole our language program, come back and went back and started teaching it, claiming that's where she learned it was her fault. You know, well, I'm not saying yes or no, I'm just throwing out what can happen and what will probably happen.
But I think like when the
Can we
videos.
copyright it?
Huh? What'd you say?
Can we
Copyright it.
copyright it?
That would take longer than that would take a lot of time.
Copyright it first before you put it out there.
They didn't write it, so we can't.
We can say no. We could say no.
Well, can you inform her what the problems we've been having
Sure.
and stuff, and tell her, prime example, go to the Nanticoke page and look at my great-grandma's picture on there that they took from the Smithsonian. and used on their webpage.
John, can you tell me where that is? I couldn't find that. What's the site? What Nanacoke is it? There was a Nanacoke Lenape. It's the Nanacoke Lenape and then the Nanacoke, New Jersey, I think.
There's about 4 different groups out there.
But which one has your picture, has the picture?
You know what, I'll forward you the.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you don't use the computer.
Yes,
I'll
she
get
does.
you a
Yes,
link to it, or?
She does, yes,
Oh,
she
you do
does.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Email.
Yeah.
I will email you a link
Email.
to it. But
Email.
another thing I want to add to what my uncle was stating here, when you do give museums and things like that those songs, it does become public information. But I also like to add that there are recordings of our Delaware women's dance songs that I've heard on the East Coast now, that is now renamed the moccasin dance. So we do have to be mindful that these songs don't only just belong to Delaware people, they also belong to Shawnee people. So how are they gonna feel if you're, giving songs like these? So it's not just for us to say, these songs and these dances, they belong to everybody. I personally, I wouldn't really see a problem with it, but you do have to be mindful of who does take down these songs and these recordings. And we also have a tribal council resolution stating on the books now that we are not to be in support of any kind of fake tribes or hobbyist groups. So that's something to be mindful of.
Can anybody go to the Smithsonian and if they know the number of those pictures, can get those? That's what I understand. I had a list of how to do that at one time, but they've gotten so expensive.
Absolutely.
And-
And also go to their archival audio recordings of things I wish that they didn't have, like also people's personal vision songs from the Big House. These things are songs that they've archived, and over the years, these people have been getting their hands on these audio recordings. And they're personal songs to us Delaware people, and the social dances that we share with Shawnee people. These are things that are given freely, and sometimes I wish they weren't.
Anna?
I understand that we're just handing this over to a museum. Are these people putting this online? Because isn't that something we could ask them not to do, put the audio recording online? Because I don't get if it's in an exhibit, then how can they do it?
Well, it would just be in the museum, so that's a good question. It wouldn't be online. But still, people go to the museum and copy it, record it, and so that's where, we have no control over that. That's where the issue lies, right there. Well, how about I just to talk to her tomorrow? I'll also forward her the resolution and make it clear. Honestly, I'm not sure that if it's already in their possession, and it is already in their possession, she's just doing it out of courtesy. So in courtesy back, in an appropriate manner, this is what our stance is. Is that probably the best approach?
I think if they got it, we can't tell them no.
Well, is there another side to this, that if the more it's out there and it came from us, does that not counteract the ones that are not us? When they use it, they say, well, that doesn't belong to them, it belongs to the Delawares. I mean, I don't know.
I agree.
That's an upside to it, yeah.
But it takes a long, long time to get where we are now, being pirated to getting restored.
Yeah, my question would be, will it be in a place where it will be protected? If it's protected and where no recording can be made, because I know a lot of the museums, they are set up that way to preserve that culture. We can get that, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but just making sure it's protected.
Yeah,
Nancy's got her hand up.
Nancy?
Benita, are you, Chair, Benita, are you stating that if we give it to the museums, that if we put a disclaimer on it, this belongs to the Lenape, cannot be reused, or something like that, by other tribes as theirs? How would we know that they're going to say, well, state registered, not federal, but state registered, so we're allowed this. Is there any way around that? Or would you have to kind of check into that?
I think that would be something that would need to be checked into. I know a lot, a museum as big as the Smithsonian, I would think would have certain protection on the property that they possess. And I would just like to hear from the museum what kind of protection they can offer us so that, you know, it won't be repeated under another tribe, or just before we make a decision, see what they have in place, because I'm sure they have something that protects
Can we put a
the,
disclaimer at the very beginning of the song? So that
Right.
can't be-
We got it.
Hey, David,
Our
he
attorney.
has his hand halfway
Oh,
up.
legal advice.
Let me address a couple things. Number one, I don't necessarily know what we're talking, I mean, I have an idea, but don't know what we're talking about here, but there's a lot of questions that come up. Number one, how old is this? And how long was it protected? You know, there's common law copyright, there's statutory copyright. You have a statutory copyright, even if you haven't filed with the Copyright Office, just filing with the Copyright Office entitles you to certain statutory damages. So the first question would be, what rights do you still hold to it if the Smithsonian has it? Do they have rights? Now, they may recognize rights, and what they're looking for is some type of affirmance that they can use it. If there is a copyright that the tribe still has, then the tribe can certainly put those disclaimers on there. Now, the problem is, just like anyone else holds a copyright, you gotta go out and police it. You've gotta find the people who are violating it. But if there are copyrights there and you reserve them, then if you find somebody using them, then you have, in violation of whatever the limitations are, then you would have the ability to injunctively prohibit them from using it. But there's a lot of underlying questions as to what, if we're talking about copyright, what you really have, and that would have to be defined.
But we don't have a copyright, David.
But there's a copyright that exists depending on when this thing came into creation. You know, the Copyright Act of 1978, I believe it is, made certain things statutory and set it up, but there is a common law copyright. It's the old poor man's copyright, where guys would write a song and then they put it in an envelope and mail it to themselves and keep it closed so that they had a post date to show that they could prove that it was theirs. And then if somebody used it later, they would have a cause of action against them. So there's a lot of ways to get to maybe where you want to go, but first off, you have to determine what legal right you have to hold and protect that in the first place. So that's really the first question. Yeah. But there are ways to do it. Yeah.
Leslie,
Nikki, I had a question. Am I correct? Did I hear you correctly? They already have it, so they're going to display it with or without our permission?
No, they would like our permission. And if we say no, they're likely not gonna do it. That's why they're calling and asking.
That's where it becomes the question is, who has the ownership interest in it? They can't use it if you have the ownership interest in it without your permission.
So they may be recognizing something that we don't know we have.
You might ask them that.
So, I mean, this is a whole nother issue. I mean, but it'll be great to have a contact with the Smithsonian to see what's going on. And I think at this
We still
point,
need a motion.
yeah, and I think,
I would like to make the motion then that we have Nikki contact the Smithsonian back and go over the checks and balances of our protection on our song. And if everything seems above board, I mean, because you said they need it quick, then I would make the motion that Nikki go ahead and determine whether it's a good checks and balance. I mean, we can't come back together in 2 days to do that, so I would just like to pass that over to Nikki to just if you're good in your mind that it's.
do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, one more permission. One more permission. Good morning, Anita.
You might explain to Steve.
She's not even here anymore. She just sent me the email. So she's got an email from Todd Weaver, and I live in Layton, Pennsylvania. Last week I called Dana for information. She forwarded me to you. You see, I work at the area school district, and we are in the process of building a new multi-sport stadium. It was my intention to approach the school board and propose an idea for a name. Since this was originally Lenape territory, and since we are called the Indians, I thought that it would only be proper to fitting to name the stadium Lenape Stadium. My reasoning being it would be a good way to honor those who came before us and to preserve their memory. But before I approach the board, I wanted to get your permission to do so. I can't guarantee that they will heed my suggestion, but at least we'll give them the opportunity. Sincerely, Todd Weaver,
Where's this located?
Pennsylvania. Layton. Their mascot's the Indians.
Can we ask them to get rid of the Indians and put this Lenape on their school?
Well, and then we run the risk of what kind of, yeah. Okay. She's joking.
What kind of imagery they use?
Yeah, what kind of imagery are they going to be using as their mascot? What?
They've already probably got one already.
Well, I'm sure, yeah.
I don't like this idea.
No.
I'll make a motion, we have Anita, or no, you said she forwarded that to you. All right, then have you,
Tell them why though. When you say no, tell them why. Tell them
that's what I
to
mean,
make their
have
mascot.
Nikki.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
because of their mascot.
Have Nikki respond to them,
No,
our
thank you.
declining of their offer.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
We cordially decline.
And if you question it, would be not so cordial.
Are you, that's made in the form of a motion.
That was a motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
The motion's been made for Nikki to cordially decline their offer and seconded.
Is that heavy on the cordial?
All in favor, please say aye.
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 I say no. I like the idea.
Is there any other no?
No, I'm an aye.
Okay. That's six yes, 6 ayes, 1 no. Do I hear other new business?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can we go into executive session, please?
Okay. We do?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a couple personnel,
okay.
committee executive session
Personnel issues.
topics. Yeah.
Okay.
Motion's been made to go into executive session.
I'll second.
7:36.
Executive session at 9:06.
8:06.
I call
8:06.
8:06, I'm sorry. I'm still on the daylight savings time.
You didn't fall back.
Call this meeting back to order.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.